Mark Ruffalo hulks out on Paramount. Mark has been very outspoken when it comes to Israel, Palestine. I got to say, as someone who's lived on a long enough timeline, a lot of things happen in the Middle East, and you reach a point where you say they're always going to fight, and maybe it's not my battle. So I kind of stay out of it. But he has been very outspoken about the Paramount WB merger, and he's been accused by Paramount of anti-Semitism. We have notes for this story. Let's get to it.
Mark Ruffalo faces anti-Semitism accusations over Paramount Warner merger criticism. Ruffalo argued that he opposes Paramount's proposed acquisition of Warner Brothers Discovery because he believes the deal could concentrate too much media power and wealth in the hands of the Ellison family. He connected the merger to the Ellisons' ties to Oracle, Larry Ellison's technology company, and Oracle's work with Israel's government and military. Ruffalo questioned what those connections could mean for media independence, corporate power, and the concentration of influence over major entertainment properties. The Anti-Defamation League, Simon Wiesenthal Center, Creative Community for Peace, and Los Angeles Jewish Federation all condemned Ruffalo's remarks. The group specifically objected to Ruffalo bringing Israel into his criticism of the Paramount merger, highlighting Oracle's technology contracts with Israel, calling Larry Ellison a classic oligarch, warning about wealthy people consolidating global power and media control, connecting the Ellisons' wealth and business interests with Israel's war in Gaza. Creative Community for Peace went the furthest, calling for an industry boycott of Ruffalo until he retracts his comments and apologizes. The organization also pointed to Ruffalo's previous criticism of Israel, including his 2021 statement accusing Israel of genocide, which he later apologized for and acknowledged was inflammatory and incorrect.
Well, let's just say, first of all, the actors are probably the last people I want to go to regarding opinions about politics. He will never work with Paramount and WB.
Mark looks like an aging lesbian right there.
Well, everyone that's like this eventually melds into Rachel Maddow, it seems, oddly. But he was excluded from the press tour for Spider-Man Brand New Day, and they did so much press, and it was fun. It was refreshing. Zendaya and the main three in the cast, along with like
Tom Holland.
They were so fun together. They played trivia games. They did Hot Ones. John Bernthal and Tom Holland did Hot Ones. It was great. And Ruffalo was not part of the tour. Not only that, he was not at the premiere. I feel like the studios have finally awakened that this hurts movies. Now, Mark Ruffalo did release a statement. It's a little lengthy here. I can zoom in on this if you want to read it, Badger.
The accusation that I am anti-Semitic is appalling and fundamentally dishonest. Criticizing the action of the Israeli prime minister, a military technology contract, or the executives who supply it is not the same as criticizing the Jewish people. His critical and necessary dialogue is then dishonestly framed as being anti-Israel. To be clear, my views come from my own political convictions and should never be interpreted as hostility towards Jewish people, for whom I have deep love and respect. Everything I know about acting, activism, and humanism has been profoundly shaped by the Jewish friends, colleagues, and loved ones who have been integral and family throughout every point in my life.
So, pause for a second. The people that drive this are driving a connection between actual Jewish people and what Israel does. And what it does is it gives permission for crazy people to attack Jews. Robert Meyer Burnett, not on the show today, happens to be Jewish. I've grown up, had Jewish friends my whole life, and I have never seen more anti-Semitism than now with all this BS. It's sickening to my core. And that Ruffalo would engages in this is disgusting. Why he's not being called out is it's weird. There's so many prominent people in Hollywood. And have you seen the videos of Jerry Seinfeld being hounded on the street? Being like forced, you got to say free Palestine. And he usually is very clever about it. It even has happened at his shows. This is giving permission for people to be cruel to Jews. It's disgusting. If you could finish his statement, and we'll go from there.
This merger has real consequences for real people and for the entire country. Scrutinizing the Ellisons, including Oracle's business built on data, surveillance technology, and government contracts, and the serious threat to editorial freedom and the loss of a livelihood for thousands of families is fair and necessary. The $111 billion deal would hand one family control over CNN, HBO, and Warner Brothers, backed in part by foreign money whose influence on editorial decisions has never been fully explained to the public. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle have called for serious national security review, and regulators still haven't given the public a real answer. Until they do, the merger shouldn't move forward. Now is the time to dive boldly into all these issues, not step back or concede. Now, notice he had no problem with his political side owning all of the fucking stations and studios. And now that there's someone on the other side that might own it and has already sworn to continue doing theatrical releases, blah, 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 blah. Now, all of a sudden, he has a problem with it.
I want to do a lot of theatrical releases.
Yeah, I want to hear your thoughts also, panel.
I've honestly never really liked Mark Ruffalo, and I think that he's incredibly outspoken and really dumb. It doesn't matter what red carpet he's out at. He will be saying something about something. He'll be supporting something. He'll be advocating for something. He'll be wearing something on his lapel. And honestly, that could be why he wasn't at the Spider-Man premiere or in any of their interviews or anything like that. Now, people were saying that he was filming at the time, so that could have been it. And he put out an Instagram story that was congratulating the Spider-Man cast on the success of Spider-Man. But in reality, he has put a lot of his foot in his mouth at a lot of red carpets, and he has caused a lot of controversy surrounding his appearances on said red carpets. And it's really irritating. There's not a lot of people that really like Mark Ruffalo. There's not a lot of people that like to be preached at by multimillionaires in general, and especially celebrities. I think that as much as we don't like to talk about it, but lockdowns really opened a lot of people's eyes as to, the real lives of celebrities and, how they live such cushy lives. And social media has also opened a lot of people's eyes on, how completely and utterly out of touch celebrities are. And Mark Ruffalo, as much as he wants to say, like, we have to go after billionaires because he's a millionaire, and he wants to make billionaires seem incredibly evil, he's still in the elitist class. Whether he likes it or not, he's in the elitist class. And he focuses on billionaires because he's a millionaire. And he doesn't want to make people think that he's evil. He's on the right side of history. But he is a multimillionaire preaching at a lot of people. And we just don't like it. We don't like to be preached at.
Imagine all the celebrities shutting the fuck up.
Ironically, he wouldn't like Gal Gadot because she's Israeli.
Exactly. That's what this bleeds into. I've seen people attack Rob Burnett online for being Jewish. I've seen it happen to him on his live streams. I've seen videos of have you seen college students who happen to be Jewish being attacked at college campuses? This is bleeding into a real world here, this battle overseas. And he can have all the opinions he wants, but this is not helpful. And I think some people in the community need to speak out on this. Any other thoughts I have a related?
Well, I mean, the problem is you're taking a merger, which is a business deal, and you're conflating it to real world problems And like, it's completely unnecessary. But this is what a lot of these guys choose to do. They just want to like try to marry all of these other issues in with something as simple as a business deal and saying, well, you know, Larry Ellison is complicit in all of these things going on over in Europe, or not in Europe, in Palestine and Gaza and Israel. And it's like, well, whether he is or isn't, what does that have to do with this business deal? And why are you trying to link the two of them together? And then you're trying to basically pour like a lot of negativity at the deal instead of just dealing with it on its merits. You know, you're basing it on the problems that's going on in Israel. And like, okay, that's disingenuous. You know, let's just talk about the deal. And is this deal good for Hollywood or not? That's the only thing he needed to do. But he can't do that. He has to try to pull from all of these other areas to, you know, and they keep saying that this isn't about politics. It's 100% about politics. All right. This is all about, hey, we don't want Larry Ellison owning CNN. He says that all the time. Oh, he's going to own CNN. Oh, he's going to own HBO. I don't want him to own that. That's basically what this is all about. And, you know, I wish people would just be honest about that, because a lot of folks aren't honest about what this really is about. You know, that's the main issue to me, you know, and then Mark Ruffalo just throwing his mouth in. This is why nobody likes this guy on the red carpet, you know, and that's the reason why he probably wasn't allowed to be there for Spider-Man.
Yeah. I see the chat real quick. Sorry.
Yeah. You're good.
Warner Brothers was losing money before Paramount even said anything.
Mhm.
All of their cable channels were losing them money, and everything they were making on the movie side, they were losing on the Discovery with CNN. And CNN did that to themselves, lying their ass off for years through COVID, which Mark had no problem with CNN at the time. And now all of a sudden that you might get something that's even if because that's the other thing, even if it's 100% that the Ellisons just have to return to like factual news-based things with CNN and CBS, that's still two alternate viewpoints for them. And so it scares them. And so they might say it's about competition and theaters, but it's not. It's just fucking CNN and the news outlets that they know will start threatening their horrible lies that they propagate all the time.
Yeah, it makes you miss Rachel Zegler, huh?
Life is simple.
Alan.
Yeah, it's the constant insistence to just make everything political too. And I mean, we know it. There are several of these people in Hollywood that they all do it, and any opportunity they get. And for me, it's just like, just read the room. Like, can you not tell that this is hurting your career? Like, just stop saying shit. Just shut up. Most of these people, they'd be a lot better off if they just got off social media and answered very few questions.